right? But I wanted to share this and I wanted to read that scripture dealing with a double-minded person because this is what I see a lot happen in my own life. I see happen in friends' lives. I see happen with people online is that we say we want to do one thing, but we're not actually doing what it is to get to that specific destination, right? We're doing something totally different, expecting a different result, and in the process of it, it is driving us crazy, right? Or it's stressing us out. It got us down. But a lot of you are not going to want to hear this. No, I don't want to say that. Some of you may want to hear the truth, right? Some of you may want me to be brutally honest with you, and some of you may not. But the bottom line is a lot of times the problems that we are having in our lives, a lot of the destinations that we're not getting to is because of us. But I want to read this scripture to you, right? James chapter 1, verses 7 through 8. But I thought that was very profound. This is why people go psycho. This is why people go crazy because of this reason right here. James 1 and 7 says, "For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord." Verse 8, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." And when you go back and read James chapter 1, it talks about somebody praying or asking something of the Lord, but not truly believing that that thing is going to happen, right? And that's why verse 7 goes on to say, "For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." Now we know here in this particular scripture is talking about spiritually, right? But how many know it's the same thing in the natural, right? And it starts in the spiritual first, right? Like you can't say you want one thing, but you find yourself doing something totally opposite, for that thing to happen. Like let's deal with weight loss, for example, right? Many people say, "Oh, I want to lose weight. They know what it is that they need to do to lose weight, but they're eating differently, right? They're not really exercising, but yet they're stressing about it, but yet they're depressed about it. But it's nothing that the external force is doing, right? It's something that's happening internally. It's something that's going on with them. And we got to get to the point of where we are no longer our own worst enemy, right? Like our mind have to line up with what we're saying that we desire to happen in our life. Listen to what a definition of being double-minded is or says. It says essentially, double-mindedness refers to lack of commitment. Now listen to this: lack of commitment or consistency in one's thoughts, beliefs, and actions. A double-minded believer, this is on the spiritual note, right? A double-minded believer may claim to follow God, but struggle to fully surrender to him, right? Or surrender their life to him. So on the spiritual side, we may say, listen, I'm a follower of God. I love Jesus. I'm following after Christ, but we're not fully surrendering. We're not fully giving him everything that he's asking for, right? The things that he's asking us to give up, the things that he's asking us to walk away from, we're not fully surrendering that, right? When it comes to a spiritual and a salvation level, right? But when you look at even before that, when it talks about when you're double-minded, you lack consistency in your thoughts, beliefs, and that last one that's super important is our actions, right? If you go back in the book of James and you look in the same book, he talks about faith without works is dead, right? One will say, "I'll show you my faith by my works," but the other one will say, "I'll show you my works by my faith." And it's like, no, you have to put your hand into something. You have to be doing something. There has to be some type of action behind the thing that it is that you are saying that you desire, right? You can't just sit and say, "I want this to happen. I want to lose weight, but I'm going to eat however I want to eat. I'm not going to exercise. I'm just going to do whatever I want to." That's not going to happen. You can't say, "Listen, I want to have some type of wealth, but every single dollar you're getting, you're spending," right? You're not investing it in nothing. You're not learning how to invest it into something, because a lot of this stuff, a lot of, where we're trying to get to and the things we desire to do and have, a lot of it is just education. It's just information, right? It's not that it's not out there. I mean, now with the internet being so vast and you can pretty much go on on YouTube or Google certain things and pretty much find out about anything nowadays, right? So the information is there, but a lot of times the action isn't there. But yet we'll say that we desire to get to Z, from A, but we're not doing what it takes to walk that alphabet, if you know what I mean, right? So being in that state of mind, seeing one thing, but living out something else, it can definitely drive us crazy, right? It can definitely bring us to the point of depression. And when you're not being honest with yourself, when you're blaming somebody else for why you are not where you're supposed to be, it's a lot easier to stay in that state. Because if it's somebody else's fault, then in your mind, that means that, well, it's not my fault. So I don't have any responsibility in this. I don't have to do anything. I just need to wait on God until he fixes it. And a lot of times God is saying, no, it's not anybody else's fault. It's your fault. I know what you said that you would like to do. I know where it is that you would like to be. That path is paved. That door is open, but you got to walk through that door. You got to twist the knob. You got to walk that.